The DGT has really been my voice. It's the guitar that I reach for pretty much all the time. So the F-hole was kind of the logical next step in the evolution of the guitar. I'm David Grissom. I'm a guitar player and songwriter from Austin, Texas. I met Paul Smith in 1986, and at which point I'd already bought my first PRS. We became friends. He gave me the gold top that I used for many years with Joe Ely and John Mellencamp, and we started working almost immediately on designing some different pickups. That relationship grew through the evolution of the McCarty model and then into the DGT. It's been a great friendship and partnership that continues today, and I feel really fortunate to be able to bounce ideas off of Paul and learn from his experience and work together with him. So in the pandemic, I started thinking about the idea of doing a semi-hollow guitar. I special ordered one, and when I got it, I was really pleased. I was doing live streams, and I would use the semi-hollow and get a lot of emails or comments about, when can we get one of those? And I'm like, well, you can't. It was made in private stock, and it's just a one-off. And the more I used it, the more emails and comments I was getting. And Paul and Bev came to me and said, how would you feel about doing a limited run? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So here we are. DGT specs really are the culmination of this 30-something year relationship I've had with PRS. The neck shape, the headstock angle, the pickups, the electronics layout, the thickness of the body has kind of evolved over that long period of time. And this guitar has all that with the addition of this F-hole here. So each guitar is hand-signed by Paul on the headstock, and on the back is my signature. They're all going to be McCarty Sunburst, and I'm partial to moons, and so on this guitar, just like the one I got from private stock, this has moons and a McCarty Sunburst. The finish on the private stock one was a little different, but everything else about it is the same. Along with the fact that we have moons on the neck, we've gone back to the Gen 2 bridge, which for me is as much sentimental as anything. It's where the guitar started. There's something about it that I really love. And so while the model itself is new, it's also kind of a return to my roots, and I'm really excited about that. There's a slightly different sound to the guitar. You can hear it acoustically right off the bat. The guitar has a little less low end than the solid body, and the top notes are slightly smoother and warmer. Live, the F-hole allows me to get a little bit of more controlled feedback, which is a really cool thing. My philosophy about tone really starts with you have to make the sound with your hands. And when I play acoustically without an amplifier, you can hear it doesn't really sound that much differently than what's coming out of the amp. The pickups are basically microphones that reproduce what I'm playing with my hands. So when we designed the DGT, before it came out, I think maybe the most arduous process, if you will, was on the design of the pickups. I was really striving for that vintage-inspired 59 classic tone, and we kind of came up with a recipe for these pickups. They're not identical pickups. The bridge is voiced to have a sound that works for me in that position, and the neck is voiced to complement the bridge, the way I set the amp up. I think my choice of gear is really informed by the stuff I was listening to when I first started playing guitar. Not just Duane Allman or Billy Gibbons, but it goes into Wes Montgomery, or there was a couple of solos that I heard Larry Carlton do on a Crusaders record. The common thread through all those tones was the guitar and the amp was really doing what they wanted it to do. And I think that the gear can really inspire your playing. The guitar and the amp both really, for me, respond to my touch. And I want to have the right guitar that feels great, and then the amp that translates what I'm sending into it, that I can sort of play off the amount of compression or lack of compression and the amount of overdrive. It's really a rewarding thing when I don't have to think about the gear I'm using. It just allows me to play in an inspired way. The electronics layout is exactly the same. Unlike a lot of other designs, this knob is the volume knob for the bridge pickup. This is the volume for the neck pickup, and this is a master tone. When I'm in the middle position, if I just have one volume and one tone, I'd miss out on the ability to sort of change the balance between the two pickups. Especially with a cleaner, brighter tone, the ability to mix these two pickups together really appeals to me. The most important thing, though, I think, is having the bridge pickup volume control right here where my little finger is, because live, that's the pickup I use 95% of the time. And I set the amp up to basically complement that pickup. That's my starting point. And so I'm always manipulating the volume control. It's almost like when I turn down to 7, it's like a clean channel. Both volume controls have a really great treble bleed cap. When I turn down, I don't lose any top end. It's the same tone with less signal going into the amp, so effectively, it just cleans it up. I want to be able to sort of mix myself. I can't rely on the sound man to pull down the fader so that my voice comes out over it, but it's a constant thing that subconsciously I'm doing with my little finger. So to have it right there, it makes all the sense in the world, and it's something I use constantly. The tone pot is a push-pull pot, which enables both pickups to be in a single coil mode. Instead of it being a kind of just half the pickup, I worked with Paul to make it kind of a 25% cut. So I still get the single coil character without having a drastic difference in volume. This allows me to make that switch live, and in the studio have a character, it brings out a character in the guitar that it does not have in humbucking mode. In some ways, almost like having another guitar, so I love that feature. I'm really happy that the people that have been asking about the guitar can now get one. It's an awesome instrument, and there are 200 of them, so come and get it.